9 May 2025. The weather in Rome was clear, but the weather in Vatican was getting hotter and hotter. The eyes of the whole world remained focused on one place, St. Peter's Basilica. Pope Leo XIV was elected to the pulpit for his first public message. But the thing that caught everyone's attention was the beauty of his words. Na Latin, na Italian, unca pela vishesh updesh tha. English main. This immediately created a moment which awakened both the religious and political worlds. Was this just a choice of language or deeper? TV anchors, news analysts, and religion gurus all over the world are surprised by it, because this small language sends a big message about change. This was the first homily of Pope Leo XIV, published throughout the world, and everyone is waiting for the talk. Will this pope speak of tradition or of change? Will they make people healthy, or will they give hope? And then those words came, "My brothers and sisters in Christ," wanted silence for a moment, then uttered the words, not in Latin, not in Italian, but in a beautiful English. This marked the first time in history that a pope had used English in his opening homily. This was not just a language option. This was a sign of a vision, the first step toward a glorious church. Why does this matter? Because language is not just a medium of communication. Language has influence. And in today's time, English has become the most popular and dominant language in the world, be it politics, media, technology, or Christianity in the world. The choice of language in the Catholic Church has never been merely a communication option. It has always represented a deeper meaning and tradition. Latin has, for centuries, been the theological and liturgical identity of the Church. In Rome, most of the time, popes speak in Italian. But Pope Leo XIV took a step not seen in Vatican history. In his first world-class homily, he English made tea. He understood that if the Church is to reach the people of the new age, it is necessary to choose a language that is accessible to all religions and Sanskrit peoples. In today's era, be it West or South, be it city or doorstep village, English has become a bridge to the world. Sources close to the Vatican say the Pope worked on this homily for several weeks. He consulted the specialties of Africa, Asia, South America, and the Americas, not only from scholars, but also from scholars, sociologists, and youth representatives. His goal was to convey a message that was not based on knowledge, but was filled with empathy and could touch every person. This was not just a message for Rome. This was for those who pray in the churches of Rwanda, who live in the streets of Rio, who dream in the youth centers of Detroit, or who attend the schools of Manila. And when Pope Leo said, "This church, our church, is not a museum of saints. It is a hospital for the broken. We must open our arms wider than our opinions. Let no one be invisible in the presence of God." The effect of that word was felt immediately. He didn't listen, but he felt a pang in his heart. Started getting tired instantly on social media. Videos went viral. Hashtags like #Pope Leo English and #Historic Homily kept trending every day. This was not just a sermon. It was a sign of a new direction. CNN ne Lika. Pope Leo's English homily breaks centuries of tradition. BBC draw, a Vatican shift. Pope speaks the world's language. Al Jazeera, he said this, "A message of unity in the most universal tongue." New York Times, Nichapa. In plain words, a powerful message. This was a new thought, the beginning of a new era. Often when there is a major change in the leadership of the Church, its effects are felt firsthand. This time also something like this happened. After the meeting in the Vatican, some cardinals quietly said the following: "This was not just a speech. This was the beginning of a new era. Even the leaders of Anya Dharma did not remain silent. Protestant pastors chanted slogans, Muslim imams and Jewish rabbis praised the Pope's humble demeanor. Atheist thinkers are also seen praising the effective presentation of this speech. ये व्यक्ति जानता है लोगों तक है. ये व्यक्ति जानता है लोगों तक पहुँच है. So let's see what Pope Leo XIV said that appealed to the whole world. My brothers and sisters in Christ, the doors of this church must be as wide as the arms of Christ on the cross. This line was not just a word, it was a picture, a message. The Pope did not talk about any church across the aisle. He envisioned a church that would be open like arms to everyone. If someone comes to our gates with shame, let them find mercy. If someone knocks in silence, let us hear them. This line is not a poem. This was a clear signal to those who are on the fringes of society, the LGBTQ+ community, people who hold different views, or people who have ever been hurt by the church. The church is not owned by theologians or emperors. It belongs to Jesus. And Jesus walked with the poor. This was a line which was shown again and again in the media. Some people called this improvement in signal. Our kuch nahi, nirmal sachai. The special thing about this homily was this. It was not just for those at the top of the church. It was for the teacher who teaches in a village in Kenya, for the mother who is raising her children alone in Brazil, or for the young woman who is planning a church in London. Pope Leo adopted a language and style called Bhasha Visheshagya, unifying speech, he says. He created a distance with few theological words, simple symbols, little wavy lines, and a message full of true emotion. Only 18 minutes. In this, they created effects that many other documents can't achieve in the salon. Is this moment great? Yes, because the church has been struggling with a challenge for centuries. Accessibility, Rach Retiravasun, was written in Latin, and people at the door often felt different due to the harsh religious language. This time, the Pope's homily in English broke our wall. After every great speech, there are a few moments that go down in history. But after Pope Leo XIV's first homily, the practice was not limited to any one area. Dosre Hidin translations in over 30 languages, millions of views, and unique experiences from people from every continent. Youth leaders in the Philippines said that church attendance next Sunday would hit a record high. In a village in South Sudan, a priest played the entire homily over loudspeaker for people who were hearing the voice of a pope for the first time. Few people in Canada who first came through the church accepted this speech. Andar kuch naram kargaya. A Nigerian woman in a BBC interview simply said this: "For the first time, every word came to me. It felt as if the Pope was talking to me." But all the practices did not prove successful. Some traditional scholars raised concerns. Is the Latin liturgy dying out? Is the Pope changing things too quickly? Will the mystery of the sacred be diminished? Some people also worried that future popes might be put under the influence of media influence. Still, critics also said, "The presentation is superb. The effect cannot be denied." This message of Pope Leo XIV awakened not only the religious community, but also the common man. A teenager from Los Angeles writes, "I was never interested in religion, but he understands it like the Pope." This is the source of poor efforts. This was not just Vatican policy or theology. This time has not yet reached the human heart. When the Pope returned peacefully to his residence in Vatican, he neither issued any press release nor celebrated any celebration. But what happened immediately after that? Cardinals convened councils. Bishops convened special synods. A Monsignor said and heard, "Maybe we have started a new chapter." Why did Pope John the 23rd of the 20th century Second Vatican Council? Like it means equal to a friend. In just 24 hours, more than 50 million views, pratikriya in every region, charcha, on YouTube, podcasts, and social media. Also available in sign language and braille. It was not a matter of speaking English. This was one née sur beginning of papacy, in which it does not just speak from the top, it seems to sit in the middle of the public. For centuries, the papacy has been mired in a practice of thin, high, low, difficult language. But Pope Leo XIV's message was, "I will talk to you in your language, in the language of your life." He did not use only English. Unhon from the branch used. Karuna, the spashta, the. A Chilean archbishop wrote, "For the first time in my life, I have received such a message on a papal homily." A Catholic radio host from Uganda said, "Earlier humans had difficulty understanding the Pope's message. This does not happen again." A nun from Ireland said, "It felt as if we were all sitting in the same room." When the message of a Dharma guru reaches the hearts of people, its impact is not limited to that day only. Something like this happened after Pope Leo XIV's speech. Some church leaders are calling Paul by a new name, the Leo line. A line has been drawn in the history of papal communication. These lines reflect a change in perspective, where the first focus is now on the listener, where the essence of language is linked to the experience of the people, and where the voice of the church is not an elitist philosophy, but is based on reality. The future pope, no matter which country he comes from, will now perhaps consider following this model. Speak in such a way that you can understand. Pray in such a way that you feel, and give such leadership that is not just worshipped, but worthy of imitation. Let's be clear. Some traditionalists believe that such actions would diminish the Church's use of sacred speech. But the truth is this: Pope Leo XIV did not destroy Latin. He expanded its reach, just as ancient prophets used Greek and Aramaic, just as missionaries spoke in local languages, just as Pope Leo chose the world's ecumenical language. That message. Don't keep whispering, but listen. The poetry of our speech, beneath the sound, before it went viral, had a deep meaning. Asha. For those who are on the fringes of society, for those who are considered wrong, for those who think that the Church has left them. The most profound effect of this homily was this: the Pope did not just speak in English, he spoke in such a way that other people also got the courage to speak. In some parts of Africa, his speech was given in the context of our language. This message was taught to us in catechism classes in Vietnam. Many parishes in America have reconsidered how many doors the Church should have. One sound awakened thousands of people. If we talk about Gen Z, they have seen a new trend on social media. New videos appear on TikTok and Instagram with the caption, "Is he really the Pope?" Did he say that the Church is not a museum? For the first time, I feel like I am included. And the most surprising figure: the next day there was a 300% increase in online youth searches related to Catholicism. This was not an ordinary homily. This won Sanskrit Spark Exam. Homily to end. Awazin has gone a long way, but the direction of change has just begun. What next? This is a question whose answer will be given by church scholars, religious scholars, and lay believers together over the next few weeks, months, and years. The decade after 2020 has given a clear message. People need religious messages, but in a way that is in their language, relevant to their times, and connected to their lives. Following Pope Leo XIV's speech, the Vatican and church leaders around the world are preparing for the next round. 1. use of liturgical language in the future, and inclusive. It is now possible that bishops and priests will use more simple, acceptable language in their homilies. The letters that come from the Vatican may also be presented in English, not just in translation, but in the main form. Sathai, Nayarupmain, visually complex content, short video explainers, and lyrics written in common language. It is possible to release it. 2. The direction of spreading religion on digital platform. After the homily went viral, it is expected that the Vatican Digital Discipleship Initiative will start, which can include small homilies, podcast series, and youth-driven translation teams through social media. A new subject in Catholic seminaries may be offered in the form of theological presentation through modern media. 3. New type of nest joint. Catholic youth movements are emerging with great enthusiasm in many countries. They see Pope Leo XIV as a religious leader who talked to them in their language and try to understand their identity. Chaplains on college campuses are reporting that for the first time, students themselves are beginning to question faith and inclusion and looking for answers. 4. The new form of Vatican II's dream. The Vatican II Council gave the slogan of aggiornamenti, that is, the Church should move with the times. Where are the theologians living? The work begun by Pope John XXIII has been renewed by Pope Leo XIV. This speech, given in English, could be a present-day embodiment of the dream of Vatican II. History never stops moving. It keeps moving. Like it happened when Vatican II was announced. Like it happened when Pope John Paul II set foot on the soil of communist Poland. Like it happened when Pope Francis washed Gideon's pear. And now, on the 27th of April 2025, when Pope Leo XIV looked into the eyes of the world, he said in English, "Let no one be invisible in the presence of God." When people all over the world were watching our homily on TV screens and mobile phones, it was probably not just a speech for many people. This was an experience. For a moment, the language of the Universal Church, its message, and its leadership began to separate from their lives. To be sure, Alochak will continue to keep his mind. This change came very fast. The depth of this tradition has diminished. The Pope was speaking to please the media. But in the morning we will keep a few more days. Sadgi of one word, the source of our message. And most importantly, we realize that the Church is not a door, it is a door. And sometimes, just this is enough to move the mountains. This homily was not a step to immediately change any doctrine. Well, this was a decision to return to a 2,000-year-old tradition. But it required one thing. It awakened the soul of the world Catholic community. It reminded that the Pope is not just a leader sitting in Vatican. He is such a shepherd whose voice has reached everywhere, from the corner of the house to the classroom of a school, from the prayer place of the village to the reel of social media. Narrator, in a gentle and deep voice, he spoke only English. They spoke in human language. In the coming years, it will be possible to see history from a different perspective. Some will call it a revolution. Some will call it just a practice. But for those billions of people who got the opportunity to hear this homily, it will remain memorable. It will be a reminder to them that when a pope is not above them, he was sitting equal to him. When the scriptures came into existence, the words began to fade away. When faith is not due to any revelation, with the comfort of a cartilage felt like it was happening. Narrator, from the passage and the passage. This was not just a homily. This was not the tea of just one language. This was the beginning of a church that was learning to speak again. And yes, This was a mod. In the beginning there was the Word, and that Word came in the form of us among us. John 1:1. If you like this message, then repeat it. Let the voice of hope hum, and stay connected with these stories, wishes, history, and future. This is what really matters.